everybody, and happy Friday. I am Julie Griffin, and this is the Ascent Meridian Technology Center News live stream. This is our second episode, and I am so excited to be here with you today. I am one of the project managers in our Workforce and Economic Development Department, and if you're not familiar with Oklahoma Career Tech, you should be. So I am super excited to introduce our guest to you today. She is a fabulous trainer. She works for a lot of different tech centers and entities across the state, but she's one of our near and dear adjuncts. She's also a near and dear friend, and I will bring her out right now, Miss Krista Scammahorn.
Hello. Hello.
I am so excited to have you here.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you. And I forgot to mention at the very beginning, if you are here watching, please drop a comment so that we know you are here. Restream and LinkedIn tell us that we have people here watching, but unless you comment,
we don't know.
We don't know. So please drop a comment, just say hi, tell us where you're tuning in from. If you have any questions for Krista, please feel free to drop them in. And as we go along, we'll even pop them up here so that everybody can see who else is here. It's Chris Hennessy, one of my LinkedIn besties and live streaming extraordinaire. Also a good friend of Krista's as well. So thanks for being here, Chris. Oops. Cody McPherson.
Hey, Cody.
Thanks for being here, Cody. We just got to spend some time with Cody last week, or I guess
this week. It's been a long week.
It has been a long week at a Career Tech conference. So thanks for being here, Cody. Oh, Chastity's here from Alabama.
Wow, that's wonderful.
Thanks for tuning in, Chastity. Appreciate it. And gotta say hello to Levi tuning in from across the office. Thank you, Levi. Oh, and we got Erica joining from Stillwater. Erica, thank you for being here. Erica is another one of our Meridian peeps. And Justin Seiler from Stillwater, thank you for being here. We were just with you this week too.
Yes.
So lots of our Career Tech peeps here. Hey, Joe, he's from 2 offices over. So yeah, thank you guys for being here. Appreciate you being a part of our live stream. We're excited to be here. So without further jabberjaw, Krista, why don't you just give us a little bit of introduction about who you are, the kind of overall training that you do, how you got started, and anything else relevant that you'd like to share with us.
Oh my goodness. So I think most importantly to start is, I'm a child of God. I mean, people can take it or leave it wherever they're, who they use as their entity or their hope. But that's who I am. And especially being that we're coming on to Easter, that I had to mention that. I have to. That's just who I am. But then I'm a wife. Julie got to spend some time with my husband and other people when I take him as many places I possibly can. So I'm a wife. I'm a cuckoo. I had my 6th grandchild born 30 minutes ago. And so they're healthy and happy and we're excited. We have 5 grown boys. So if you notice, I'm a grandma first and then I'm a parent. No, I'm just kidding. But
we all know who's important.
Yeah, we know who's our favorites. And then so we had the 5 grown boys. So we're constantly busy with but we're also we just have a really well-balanced life and we've been so blessed. And because of that, and that journey of figuring out myself and my leadership, I like to help other people. Like I listen to discussions and I ask people to probe and say, what problems are you having in your leadership roles? What ways do you think, what things do you think you could learn that you feel like you could supervise better? Or even if you never want to supervise people, because it's hard, but what can make you better inside personally, but also professionally? So I've been doing that and I have we would be here for 2 hours if I told you my past working jobs and things I've done, because I got a little bored and I was probably a millennial before I'm not a millennial, but you know how they say those millennials, they're switching jobs every couple of years. Well, hello. I did the same thing, and it wasn't because I was mad or hated the places, but learned everything I had and, move it on. So I have lots on LinkedIn if you want to know what did I really do in my job descriptions and what companies have I worked for, because it's a lot. So what I've just talked kind of personally about who I am.
Mhm. That's okay. That's
What
okay. I mean, that's like one of the rules of LinkedIn is people connect with people. Anthony, where are you? I said your phrase, people connect with people.
Yes.
So I think that's one of the great things about, even LinkedIn Live is we're getting to know you as a person in real time. It's
Yeah.
not just a curated video or, a very polished and practiced presentation that is, let's be honest, it's a performance.
Yes.
But no, I think knowing who you are personally directly translate into who you are professionally and the value that you bring to the table in that way as well.
And another thing is when you said that, it's like I'm a I'm a largely flawed human being, and if you tell me you're not, I don't believe you, but, I don't hide it. I really try not to. I learned when I was 37, I was, going through a divorce that why did people think my life was supposed to be perfect and my marriage was supposed to be perfect? Because it wasn't. So when you
Mhm.
start figuring out you're putting on a show, then it's really lonely. So I really tried to show people, "Hey, Tasha, thank you for joining us," one of my friends
Yes.
from OMES. Um, I really want to stay flawed. I want to tell people I mess up hourly, daily, and yet I don't let that stop me.
Mhm.
We were talking earlier in the year, Julie, and last year about just doing stuff afraid. Do it
Mhm.
afraid. Do it scared. In
Yep.
fact, if you feel a little scared, then that means to jump into that courage, right? And I
Yep.
think Tasha had said something about that this week in one of her breakout sessions about if you're feeling a little scared, you're going the right way. You
Mhm.
really are, because you should be a little scared in whatever you jump into. Lindell, oh my gosh, one of my favorite people.
And a new grandma.
And a new grandma.
Yes,
Oh, yes, we're young Grammys.
of course. So,
Awesome.
very good. So I just want to get into, we don't have a lot of time, so I want to dig into like the meat and potatoes of why we got you here. But like I said in the intro, like you're an adjunct instructor for us here at Meridian. You also
Mhm.
work with other tech centers, but we're not going to name drop today. Um, I love them all. It's fine.
That's right.
So I know, like, just thinking through some of the things that I've seen you train on and seeing your training topic list, I kind of came up with like you could really have like three kind of big categories of training that I would consider. Like you've got productivity, then like leadership development type stuff, and then personal professional development. It's kind of
Okay.
the three categories that I kind of chunked your training into.
I love it.
So why don't you just, start with productivity? We'll kind of go down the list. What are some of those kind of productivity trainings or resources that you have that you like to share with people?
Well, the funny thing is that like productivity is so funny because so my working frustrations are engagement and tenacity. That's getting stuff done, right?
Mhm.
So early on when I was younger, some reason I knew I had to make systems
Mhm.
in my life. I couldn't just dream all the good things, which I love and could do forever, and invent new things. I needed to make sure they come to fruition because that to me that's a sign of success.
Mhm.
So I learned systems and I taught myself systems all the time. And then I raised my hand when I was at DLO and they said, we need someone who is willing to go off for a couple years, learn Six Sigma. If you don't know what Six Sigma is, go look it up.
Mhm.
It's just it's a very big thing. It was 2 years of my life full time. They put me on to become a Six Sigma black belt. And if you know me, when I got there and met all these people across the country, they're like, "You don't fit into this group." They're mostly engineers. They're really intelligent people, and then there's me, like, "Hey, let's have a party." So I believe in productivity. I had to have those
Mhm.
systems to see things happen. And so when I say that, when 2005, um, I was a district sales manager for Diagnostic Lab of Oklahoma, or DLO, and I was drowning. I had little kids and ball. I had a husband who was a coach and a teacher at that time,
Mhm.
always gone, and I was drowning. And I like to feel successful. So people who know me, I'm also a control freak and a recovering perfectionist. I'm a recovering control freak too. But so I went out and somebody helped me. You got to be vulnerable. Tell somebody I'm drowning. And they gave me the book, Getting Things Done by David Allen. And that was the first version. And I have that book. I still have that book today. I like to look at it. It's marked up, it's got highlights, it's got some flags on the side. And when he came out with the second one in 2015, the updated version to include email, I've been a big follower because I need help. I'm a little wild. I could get off topic. I can get off of trying to get things pushed through. And so getting things done was just natural to get certified to do that. And then email I just kept hearing all the CEOs and the directors of all the companies saying, I'm drowning in my email. We've got to do something. Do you have a class? So I spent a year looking for something that was already developed, and I still haven't been able to find anything. So that's when I developed that curriculum about email and email efficiency in 2018. Oh, thanks, Chris. Thanks for
Yeah,
the plug.
that email live stream was really good. Like I was thinking about that earlier. It was really good. And people need it. People want it. So it's relevant.
So that's my productivity thing. And like everything else, you guys, I'm not perfect. I strive for inbox zero, meaning zero in my inbox, and it's a constant moving target. And so I give myself grace because I'm only one person. And guess what? I have grandkids this weekend. You think I'm gonna look at my
No.
emails? Heck no. I'm gonna look at those crazy grandkids and I'm gonna let them run me ragged and and just have that energy not taken away. I did pick up my emails this morning just because I needed to tell someone goodbye who's their last day and before not retirement, before moving on to another position. So just giving yourself grace, but knowing that if you want to feel successful and you're not, look at how is your productivity doing? Because everyone can be a little bit better, just a little bit.
Absolutely. And I think productivity, like it has a different definition for different people. And so
Yes.
knowing what productivity looks like for you and defining it for you individually is really important. Because I know I've gotten sucked into, reading all the things about how to be more productive and do the hardest thing in the morning and everything else. And it's like, I don't do good work in the morning, so that doesn't
That's
work
not
for
you.
me. And so finding
Right.
that individual sweet spot of what productivity looks like for you, for your role, for your organization or whatever is so important.
And Julie, that's funny you say that because, well, for several reasons, but I've been getting things done for years, and I tell people exactly what you just said. Like, there's not an app to tell you what to do. Because only you make the decisions what's important to you and what needs to be done. But I still wasn't figuring it out truly until I took the 6 Types of
Yeah.
Working Genius, and I was like, oh. And now I'm like, oh, I need to get my friends who have tenacity and say, I'll help you with these things if you'll help me with these things. Like, hold me accountable.
Yes.
I have people that, Randall, that you work with, who I absolutely adore. Your video and wonderful person, Randall, that I'm like, Randall, you've got to help me stay on target. Bless his heart, because that's hard to do. But sometimes you just need people, you need systems. I like systems, but we still need people, because you can poo-poo your systems. It's easy to go, I don't want that system today. But if I have someone I respect, I love, saying, all right, Krista, we could do this, then I'm like, okay, we could do this.
Yes.
We got to finish that video project that I'm working on about email.
Yes.
And we're going to.
For sure. I think the ideal kind of nirvana is having the systems and having the people in place and marry them
Yes.
together. And yeah, that's the sweet spot. So I
So true.
love your productivity stuff. I love talking. I tell people about your email stuff all the time. Like, oh, you said email? You need to talk to my friend Krista. Yes, it's good. So I
Yes.
know you've been working on other, like, I love that you developed the email training all on your own because there was a need and you just went about it, right? So tell me more. I think you've done that with some leadership topics as well. So why don't you tell us a little bit more about those?
So in 2020, divinely, I know, I'm a believer, and I know that was divinely, I was put on this call with some everybody was doing everything remote then. And so I was put on this video chat call from a friend of mine who's a trainer, said, you need to be on this because they're looking, the OMES, the Office of Management Enterprise Systems for Oklahoma, was looking for trainers to do different topics, relevant stuff, new stuff. And so for some reason, that fall of 2019, all these books were coming out about our thoughts, our minds, about how we are not using that and so I started gathering all this information. That's what kind of first starts. I start reading stuff and noticing trends and start gathering research and diving down holes. And so I get on this random Zoom or whatever, maybe Teams, probably Teams because the state. And I don't even know a soul on there. And they just start, me, I was just like, okay. So they start saying, Krista, what are you passionate about now? Like, is there anything new? And so I started just blabbering about mindfulness, like using our thoughts to control when we're nervous, using our thoughts to control when we are uncertain or we have stress, when we need more focus, and how we can use our thoughts to do that. And that there's good research out there that tells us how to do that. Now, it's simple. Most of the things are free and simple if we use our thoughts. And so I just started blabbering, and they're like, okay, we want you to write that up, and we want to have like a 7-week course on that. I say, okay, what did I get myself into? And, I love that. So I dove in, and we had a mindful leadership like module, 7 weeks with the state of Oklahoma for their CPM program, Certified Program Manager. And then I ended up doing it through Meridian Tech with the Oklahoma Library Association, and the Office of Department of Libraries, and also the Museum Association of Oklahoma. So I've been really, really blessed. And from that, I can't tell you how many times I've done focus and attention control.
Oh,
I must have done that 50 times in the last 6 months. It's a real deal. Anybody else on here? I want to hear from you. I want to see a chat. Is somebody on here have focus completely down? Like you have a system and you can focus in? Chris Hennessy, do you have? What is today's topic?
We're doing like an overview of the different trainings that Krista has, and then she's going to tease us with kind of a teaser for the training that we have scheduled in a couple weeks here at Meridian. So I do not have a system. I have a whiteboard because I have learned that I'm very visual, and if I can't see it, it doesn't exist. Yep. And so I have this whiteboard that is color-coded and beautiful, and it makes my creative side very happy. But that is the best system I have right now, is just visual reminders of what I have in the pipeline and what needs to keep going. And
so that's productivity. But what if you say, okay, I have to get this report to Levi by tomorrow noon? Like, do you have a focus? Do you have a way to focus? Like, have you figured out how you focus best?
Yeah. I have to shut my door, which took me a really long time to get like comfortable with. And I have to put like earbuds in and like music, depending on what the work is, depends on my music genre and whether it has words or not.
Yes.
Because I have to like create my own little like bubble where like I don't hear the conversations out there. There's conversations happening outside right now that I'm like, squirrel. So I have to create my own little like bubble, but it can't be silent. I don't do silence.
I don't do it well either. And you might, sometimes they say people who have tinnitus, am I saying that right? In your ears, a little ringing. We don't do that well, and I'm the same way. I have to have music, but I can't have words because then I find myself singing off tune and then I'm grossed out and I can't focus very well. So, if I just think it's so important that we have a little bit of focus time during the day, even if it's only 45 minutes.
Well, and Jacqueline, she works here at Meridian too. So I think I'm gonna have to go talk with her and see what her system is.
I love that. Focus isn't something that's long term.
Yeah.
It's not. In fact, the science says 25 minutes is good. I mean, isn't that sad? Yeah. 25 minutes.
That's crazy. And I think so. There's talking about the amount of time you are able to focus, and also the time of day that you're able to focus. And this is one of my passion things, but figuring out what time of day you're at your best, when you do your best work, when different types of work you should be doing and when. Like that is one of my
Yep.
babies that I love to train on. So one of the things
You have to know
you
that.
do.
You have to know that. Because after 3 o'clock and you're asking me to focus, and I'm in my office cabana looking out at a swim pool and it's 98
Yeah.
degrees outside, that's not a good time for me to
Yeah.
focus. I mean, I'm like, "Ooh, I can't wait to get in that pool," you know?
And for
So
me,
that's
sometimes
not
I'm
good.
the opposite. Like my brain doesn't like wake up until 3 o'clock, and
Till
then bam,
3.
bam, 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 bam,
Right.
things start flowing. So
So we wouldn't wanna brainstorm, you and I, at 7
no,
AM because it
no,
wouldn't be flowing at
no,
that time.
not the best. So I
Yeah.
think this keys in with a lot of what you've talked about already, but there's so much personal
Mm.
awareness that goes into
Yes.
any training that you're going into, is recognizing where you're at currently so that you can make that, you know, accurate assessment of what you need to bring in.
You know, I I tried for so long in my early years, so 30s, trying to find someone to emulate,
Mm.
to be like them because I felt like that was easier road
Mhm.
and but I couldn't find anybody who wasn't me.
Right.
And you know what I mean? So I could find snippets of people like, "Oh, I admire their poise. Oh, I admire their, the way they present themselves or something." But I couldn't find
Mhm.
me in that. And so my 40s was more like, "Oh, I need a better version of me."
Mhm.
And what does that look like? What things first of all, some things you just embrace and some things I was trying to make my bad things better
Mm.
when I just need to do my good things better.
Mhm.
Is what I started figuring out and quit trying to get all of these bad things, which, you can I can get better. My first thing I'm starting now is to try not to interrupt people so
Mm.
much because that's not good. That's disrespectful. But there's some things about me that will never be perfect. There will never be Julie, will never be Marcy or someone else or Lynn or Chris Hennessy. So I've got to be Krista
Mhm.
and just be the best Krista that I'm made for, that I was uniquely made to do.
Absolutely.
And so since I started doing that and praying on it, things are flowing better.
Mhm.
Self-awareness. Take that self-awareness and realize that other people are different from me too. Don't expect them to be like me. I had a bad problem with
Mhm.
that too.
No, I think I
Yeah.
totally agree. And I think that is the perfect segue for you to talk to us a little bit about the class that we have coming up. So, here at Meridian on our South Campus in Guthrie on April 18th, Krista will be with us for a lunchtime learning session talking about, I'm going to pop this up so we have the visual, gaining confidence and charisma. So, just tell us a little bit more about what we can expect from that day.
So that was, I'm trying to think of the year. The years go by so fast anymore. That was in 2021. The then president of OSU OKC in Oklahoma City, so that's Oklahoma State University out of Oklahoma City, said their president's leadership people, PLC President Leadership Club, they asked them, "What is one thing that we can hire someone to train you on that you really think will help you when you leave here, when you get this associate's degree or whatever path you're on?" What was one thing? And that was the one thing that they asked for was confidence training.
Interesting.
And interesting enough, isn't I love that number one. It was students anywhere from, 18 to 35
Mhm.
who were in this group. And they had 72 of them. So we had two separate classes. And so my friend, she's not there any longer, but she came to me and said, "I thought first of you because I think you'd be perfect to train this." So of course I said, "Oh yeah, let's do that." And Julie, I follow Vanessa Van
Mhm.
Edwards, who she's the owner of the Science of People. It's out of Austin, Texas, and she has tons of YouTubes, tons of videos. She has two books, Cues, Cues, and Captivate was her first book, Captivate. And I had listened to Captivate a couple times, and there's a lot of good science in there about people think you're just born with confidence and charisma. And I thought, let me do the research on that. So there are really good things. So I gathered all of these wonderful tips and tricks that people can use. And I want to hear from y'all in the chat. What things make you feel confident? What things make you feel like, okay, I've got it on today. Like I feel it today. And I really tell them a lot of different things about the science, but also things like, hey, you can put on your best lipstick if you're a girl, or if you're a person that wears lipstick. I shouldn't say that. If you're a person that wears lipstick, a really great outfit that, that outfit makes you feel like $1,000,000. So if you put those on, that will start it. But anyway, I give a lot of really fun tips, tricks, some videos to watch, not just hearing me for that whole time, but to really show people you're not just born with it. You can cultivate your confidence inside to have what I call confident humility. We talk about this is important. What's the difference between arrogance and confidence? Because that was the number one question from these students when I polled them. They wanted to make sure they understood what's the difference, what does arrogance look like, and what's confidence look like, and where is that magic line around that? I find it so funny that Chris Hennessy just said starch jeans. You're such a cowboy.
It's the man's version of a really great outfit.
Yeah. It is. It's the rural attire. It's business rural is what we call that, business rural. Taylor, a good hair day. I know. That always makes me feel good, but I don't always have them, right? Yes. So Cody is obviously our productivity guy. He's probably tenacity person for sure.
Love
I
it.
love that. But just understanding what does confidence look like, because a lot of people don't even know what that means. That doesn't mean arrogance in any way. So we talk about it being confident, but humble. I mean, there is such a thing of confident humility. We should be confident in the things that we know for certain, and that we work on in ourselves and stuff, and our morals and our ethics and stuff, and we're strong in those things. And then really charisma is something we can learn as well. We learn how to handshake. Yes, we do. You would be surprised. I did a lot of handshaking this week. We had 200 people at a conference in wonderful Shangri-La, Monkey Island, Afton area of Oklahoma, and shaking hands with almost all of those people teaches you how, I guarantee you 3/4 of people don't handshake well. It was so interesting. So I make people stand up when we're in person. And last week I trained it for the state of Oklahoma workers. And so I'm showing them online, say, look, web to web. You see this web right here? Web to web. Go in. Firm. I don't want no wimpy, sweaty handshake. And so it's funny because we ask people to chat. What are the things that drive you nuts about a handshake? And some people will say, well, my hands are, some people have sweaty palms. It just is what it is. And so we talked about what to do when you have sweaty palms, what to do if a man has to shake the hand of a woman. Because you know what the number one thing women say that they hate? A wimpy man's handshake. Like, I'm going to break. I promise. I've got 5 boys. I will not break. It's not going to, I'm not going to break. In fact, I want you to bring it in. Don't crush my hand, but bring it in.
Yeah.
So somebody said, and shirt, a really great outfit and shirt. Yeah. Maybe a clean shirt at least. That's good.
Yeah. We don't want to shake hands with the dead fish.
No. I mean, it's just like this. I mean, I had one person shake my hand like my fingertips this last. And I will say that nowadays we have to say, hey, do you shake? I usually, especially if I don't know the person. Do you shake? Do you shake hands? I asked a couple people this week because I didn't know them. Are you a handshaker? Some people are like, I'm a hugger, and they just come in after you. I recommend if you don't know them, maybe hold back on that. But that's my personality, not yours.
Right.
Oh, and a starched shirt. Wow, Chris, you are Mr. I didn't know you were so starched.
You learn all sorts of things about people in conversations like this, right?
Yeah, and we talk about grooming, confidence and charisma
Mm,
isn't just your clothing, right? Sometimes it's just the, standing up straight, your chest out, you're taking up space. We talk a lot about that.
mhm.
If I know you, I'm a hugger, good. I don't mind people hugging me if they know me, and even if they don't, I'm like, "I'm gonna let you hug me," but I'm kind of I might be a little like, "Ugh, I don't know you very well." Yes, and I do a lot hey, if you don't hug, I do not judge you. I don't know if you're going home to somebody who's immunosuppressed. I don't know those things. I give you the benefit of the doubt. I don't know, but I also like we can elbow bump. Hey, these elbows, shouldn't have too much junk on them. But yeah, Cody, that's true. I mean, that become a real thing when you're trying to teach confidence and charisma and handshakes when there's half a room wearing mask. So we had to bring that into the training too as well, and respect and everything. But I love it because it's not just the clothes you wear. It's really not. It really is on how you hold yourself, and it starts really inside with your thoughts of understanding. And I think I've lost Julie, or I'm just on here by myself. Hello. Somebody please chat if you can hear me and see me.
I thought I would pop in while we wait for Julie to come back.
Can we see some chats, Chris, Cody? Julie's frozen, but can you still see me, Chris? I think the chats are coming up like they're a little
They
delayed.
are a little delayed. We're a little delayed
Okay.
on live. There, Julie's back.
Yay! All
I don't know what
right. You're good. Thank you, friends.
yeah. So
That's why it takes several people,
it
on the
does.
back end to do
Yeah, I was
that.
like, Taylor, my computer just restarted. Please pop in there. Oh, so thank you, Taylor. Yeah,
There is a delay, Chris says. So he's the
he is
expert
the resident expert.
live streamer. So if you're on here and you want to hire someone to help you do a live stream, connect with our friend Chris Hennessy on LinkedIn because he's helped me. I've paid him to help me because he is so good, so good.
Absolutely.
He's helped Julie also.
Yes,
He's
for
really good.
sure.
So let's ask some people, what if you were going to a class on confidence and charisma, like what would you want to hear about? Like what do you think you lack? I don't want to say that. But what do you think would be worth your time? Like relevant, worth a class? I want to make sure that I'm filling all the gap. I like to pour into people, and you got to find out from people what they need,
Right.
first of all. So
I think that's
if you're on here, I want to hear from you.
right. I think that's a really good question because I think everybody has a different idea of what it means to have confidence and charisma. And I love that you have
Right.
emphasized that they can be learned. Like it's not
Oh,
just something that certain people are born with. I'm sure certain people have like natural gifts and abilities, but just because
yes.
that's not you naturally doesn't mean that it can't happen. So
Right.
I think that's
That
awesome.
is so true. So true. I mean, there are so many people, especially like Vanessa Van Edwards in her books. She says she's a recovering awkward person. Like she shows pictures of her. I need to find this one picture of me in ninth grade. It is so awful. My teeth are in braces and they're in that spread out mode. And I'm just smiling so big with my spread out braces teeth, white skin, freckles, bad perm. My mom and my grandma gave me this bad perm the week before my pictures. I'm ninth grade and I am pale, pasty white. You're like, it is so bad. It would give people hope.
Mhm.
I think I need to put that in to the
I think
presentation.
that'd be good to know that we can all get from wherever
Yeah.
we are to where we want to be.
Oh,
Oh, I like
good small
Cody's.
talk. S- Um, I find myself not knowing when to. Okay.
In conversations of how to politely do the quick, simple talks that are so meaningful. I think that is an excellent,
I
excellent question, Cody.
Julie, do you have the capability to copy and paste that into like something for me, like
Yeah,
maybe an email or a side
yeah.
something? Because with Cody saying that, that's a good. I worked at the South Oklahoma City Chamber for a while, and it was always interesting to me that if you asked, the 700 members, what would they like to hear for Lunch and Learns? Most of the time it was in a different vein. They would say networking. So it's the same kind of thing, Cody, like how to small talk, because I took for granted that I knew how. Like my dad was a food salesman for forever and a day, and I watched him all the time, and so I got that modeled a lot. We went to church and went to all these places and events that you had to know how to do that. So you had lots of practice. Lots of people don't have that. And I think I started figuring that out. So Cody, I love that suggestion, and that's a really good suggestion. In fact, this confidence and charisma class or session I did for the South Oklahoma City Chamber last summer, and it was full. Like within a day, they had the class full. They had people in the waiting list, and it was so engaging. So it was, it fills my heart to do stuff that people have good questions and said they learned things, and it was wonderful. In fact, can I have time to tell you this really quick funny story about it? Okay, so I had this dress on, and it was a dress that I felt good in, and I had a really cute jacket over it. Well, my husband was gone that morning. My husband is my dress zipper upper in the back. Well, he was gone that morning to a fire marshal conference or something. So I get there. Well, it was hot, so I had to take my jacket off, and I'm an hour in, and a friend of mine's like, my financial advisor's in the back, and she keeps saying, come here. I'm like, I'm in the middle of teaching. She said, take a quick break. So I said, hey, everybody, talk to your neighbor about what you've learned today. So I went back there, and she goes, your dress is unzipped. I was like, and one of my things I talk about is embracing your imperfection. And so it was next on the list. So I just used myself. Why not? Hey guys, I just thank you for not saying anything, but I just had my dress unzipped for the hour of this presentation. I mean, hey, we're all flawed.
Right.
We all have things, right? So that's just one of my quick things. And that's
I love it. So if you are in the area and you can come to our Guthrie campus on April 18th, I encourage you to sign up and come attend Krista's class. We'll start at 11:30. We'll serve lunch, and then she'll give us about 75-ish minutes of instruction. Yeah. And as somebody who sat through several of Krista's trainings, I can promise you it'll be interactive. It'll be fun. You'll have people around you that you can learn from, and it'll just be a really good investment of your time. So I am so thankful that I have you on my list, on my calendar for that day. And again, I just invite you to come if you'd like to come to our South Campus. If you are watching this, you can scan that QR code. I'll take you to our registration page. And if not, then find me on LinkedIn, shoot me a message, whatever, send smoke signals if you need to, and we can get you the information that you need and get registered. I encourage you also to connect with Krista on LinkedIn.
Yes.
And just learn from her. I think both of us are fairly active and posting, and there's so much that you can learn from people around you, even on an online platform. So, and it says someone scanned the QR code. So that makes me so happy.
That's so cool.
So
that's cool that it tells you that.
I know. It's the first time I've ever used the QR code feature through Restream.
That is super cool.
Yeah. So we are at our time limit. Oh yeah, and there's the link in the comments if you're watching on the Meridian page.
Okay.
meridiantech.edu/South Campus LL for Lunch and Learn, and that can get you there too. So, Krista, thank you so much for joining me today, especially after the long week that we had. But it's always a joy to talk to you, and I love getting to introduce you to more of my network, more of Meridian's network, and the integration that these live streams bring for all parties involved.
So much fun. Thank you.
So hang tight. I'm going to hit the outro, and then we will see you guys all in a month. First Friday. So that's May 5th, I think. And I will have Kara Adney on with me. She is our project manager over our film crew training. She's also a delight to talk to, and I can't wait to introduce you guys to her as well. So we will see you in a month.
Happy Easter, everyone. Happy Easter.
Take care.